I've always believed that the soul of a moment hides in the shadows between shutter clicks. My name is Adrian Kane, and I make my living chasing those fragments of truth, where light fractures reality and delivers a sliver of something unguarded. Tonight, I am perched on a steel folding chair in the back corner of St. Jude's Hall. My Nikon D850 cradled against my chest like a talisman. The charity gala swirls around me, glittering tuxedos, whispered negotiations, champagne corks, popping like miniature gunshots. I feel at home here, watching the veneer slip at the edges. I adjust my lens to 50mm, prime, precise. My assistant, some kid I hired off Craigslist, adjusts the cassette in the multi-flash. He gives me the thumbs up, and I nod once. The first burst of frames chunks into the waiting chamber. I swivel, catching a senator mid-laugh, a widow clutching a red silk rose. Each click is an invocation by the time the gala reaches its crescendo live. Auction, final toast I've shot to rolls. My heart is steady. No surprises, no technical hiccups. But I'm restless. Maybe the night is too well staged. I need rawer material. I lean forward as the head table clears and a small crowd drifts. Toward the exit corridor, the overhead lights flicker, and for a heartbeat, the hallway tilts into cinematic chiaroscuro. I lift the camera and fire 3 rapid frames. The first to show the corridor in calm succession. The senator's aide lighting a cigarette from a silver lighter, his lips curling around the tip. The third frame freezes him with a blade in hand, pouring forward, eyes black with intent. I lower the camera with a snap and stare. No one's holding a knife. The aide puffs, smoke like any other courteous man. Yet there it is, etched in silver halide shadow, the glint of steel, the curve of a sharpened blade. I blink and press my finger against my eyelid, as if to wipe away a trick of the light. The camera hangs lifeless at my waist. I rise, weaving through milling guests, pulse staccato. I reach the corridor. Fluorescent glare washes everything pale. The aide paces beside a mahogany pedestal, no blade in sight. I slow to a stop, pitch-perfect calm. "Excuse me," I say, raising my voice just enough. "Do you mind?" He smiles, exhales, smoke. "Everything okay, cameraman?" He steps past. I nod, forcing a polite curve in my lips. I hurry back to the green-tiled dark room at the end of the hall. My assistant's busy swapping film canisters. I strap on goggles and slide the first roll into the developer tray. Time stretches as the emulsion blooms from white to grayscale revelation. I fish out the first frame siblings posing beneath a balloon arch. Normal, I flick past shot after shot. Champagne fountains, torsos in dance, smiles like polished gems. Then, corridor, frame 12. The aide, knife hand poised as though lunging. The darkness around the blade bleeds into the hallway. Even the light fixtures in the print seem to glow ominously. I hold the print, heart lodged in my throat. My hands tremble. Logic screams lab error, but my gut clenches. This feels prescient. The thought is savage. Maybe I just glimpsed an act before it happened. I rip off my gloves, splashing fixer onto my sleeve. The chemicals hiss. I clutch my jacket, slapping it with denial. I'm a professional. I've seen bad prints, underexposures masquerading as miracles. I stash the photograph in my leather portfolio and stride back into the gala, mustering an indifferent posture. My assistant looks up, brows knitting. "Everything all right?" he asks. Just a weird light leak. I lie, hefting my kit bag. Let's pack up. He shrugs, and together we trudge through the dispersing guests. I smell cigarette ash and damped tuxedo. The aide from my photo appears at the end of the corridor, stepping into a black sedan's open door. No dead body, no ambulance, no screaming. Just him on the phone, palm against his temple, voice low. Everything's fine, he says. Headed home, I turn away, swallowing a scream. In my pack, the single print flutters like a wounded bird. It doesn't belong to this night. I can feel it buzzing with an energy I don't understand. My fingers itch to tear it apart, incinerate it in the ceremony of my darkroom purge. This omen, but something in me wants to know what comes next. And so I walk into the August night, the echo of that frozen moment nesting in my mind, unsure. Whether I'm hunter or prey, witness or catalyst. The gallery lights extinguish behind me, but the image burns on a promise that the mirror never lies. I wake before dawn, the city still draped in haze, and my first thought is the knife-wielding aide frozen in my photograph. I sit up in bed, sweat chilling beneath the covers, my pulse already a drumbeat pounding through the silence. I dress, quickly in black, sleeve rolled high, and slip into the studio's narrow alley before the street lamps lose their glow. The key to my darkroom rattles in my pocket. Each click against my keys is a reminder of what waits behind the door inside. The red safe light hums like a wounded cicada. My assistant has left the trays filled with fresh chemicals overnight, as per my instructions. Developer, stop, bath, fixer. I cut the overhead power switch, leaving only the amber glow. The room smells of ammonia and damp paper. I move to the enlarger and slot in the second roll. Already halfway through development when last night's gala was still echoing in my ears. My hands shake, but I steady the tray with a breath and dip the negative into the developer. Time slows to syrup as the negative's image rises. My eyes strain behind my goggles, searching for anomalies. I pull it out swiftly, transferring it to the stop bath. Steam fogs my goggles, and I wipe a finger across the inner lens, knowing that every drop of developer left clinging to the glass risks burning invisible artifacts into the print. I run the negative through fixer, but my thoughts won't fix. The image is persistent, unshakable. I flip the contact sheet to the safe light and press my forehead against the glass. Frame 1, I greeting the gala guests. Frame 7, the aide lighting his cigarette. My stomach clenches as my gaze jumps to frame 12. The blade is there again. Silhouette razor crisp, jutting from shadow. The blade's metal edge almost glimmers, as though catching the hall's chandelier in its reflection. I reach out to touch it. The paper feels warm, alive. I tear off the first sheet and slide fresh paper under the enlarger lens. I focus on the corridor scene, adjust the timer, and expose the print. When I lower the easel and carry it to the developer, I feel as though I'm approaching a crime scene. The developer's fizz and hiss eerily echo. I lift the print and watch. The silver grains coagulate into shapes. I am not indifferent. I am complicit. A noise behind me, my assistant, bleary-eyed, clutching a coffee mug. "You're in early," he whispers, his breath spiraling into mist. "Everything okay?" I stare at him. His face is blank slate. "I need an entire set," I say, nodding toward the enlarger. "I want the corridor sequence first 2 frames, last 2 frames, double checks." My voice sounds too calm, rehearsed. He nods, refilling my mug. Got it. While he drains his cup, I inspect the freshly fixed print. The 4 images whisper. A story, a calm build-up smoke curling from the aide's lips, then the apparition of the knife 2 frames later, then him lingering as though savoring guilt, and finally, the aide stepping back into the gala's glow, blade vanished, smile intact. It reads like prophecy in gloss and grain. I worry I'm going insane, that my obsession is twisting ordinary photographs into a hallucination. I roll the prints into a neat stack and flip the switch. The room goes dark. The safe light dies. Panic blooms like ink in water upstairs. The city hums into bustle. I need to be out there somewhere, away from the prison of my own making, but I don't trust daylight. Not after last night. I can taste the fear in my mouth, metallic and acrid. I need answers. Is this a freak lab error? Or something more sinister, supernatural? And what if it's true? What if I hold a camera that can peer into the future? I pull open the bottom drawer of my metal cabinet and extract an aging manual. On photographic anomalies, ghost images, light leaks, double exposures. I scour it, page by brittle page. There's a chapter on retrospective imagery, odd cases where plates captured events before the shutter clicked. The explanations range from faulty shutters to cosmic coincidence. None mention moral implications. What it means to record not the past, but the yet to be. I clamp the book shut, exhaling a laugh that tastes like fear. I know why I'm here, not research, but confrontation. I return to the enlarger, exhausted but driven. I load a third roll street scenes I shot 2 nights ago. Nothing fancy, a vendor selling roses, a busker strumming guitar. My hands barely obey as I thread the film. I kick off the lights and cycle through development again. My assistant returns, with fresh developer, glancing nervously at the prints scattered like forensic evidence. He asks, "What's happening, Adrian?" I don't meet his eyes. I'm seeing things, I confess softly. Things I shouldn't see. His brow furrows. Should we call someone? A tech? A professor? I shake my head. Not yet. I flash on the last print, a street musician raising a guitar pick over a man's face. In the next frame, the man's hand hovers near a pocket knife in his coat. I watch the image deepen in the fixer bath, heart clenching. Are we predicting violence? He whispers. I hesitate. The notion tastes like a blade to my tongue. I don't know. Test it. I force the words out. Shoot me tomorrow morning at the coffee shop, 15 minutes from now. Capture me holding this print. He blinks. You want my coffee break to be proof? Promise me you'll shoot it. I fold my arms and develop it on the spot. He nods, hesitant but respectful. I see the weight of this assignment pressing down on him. It's not just a simple job anymore. It's a descent into something darker. I snap off the safe light and pack away the films, shivering as the room's chill closes in. Before leaving, I steal one last glance at the tray of fixer still faintly glowing under ambient darkness. I shudder. I've crossed a line. I'm no longer a mere observer. I'm a curator of fate. I lock the darkroom door behind me, the click echoing down the empty hallway. My assistant's footsteps fade as he descends the stairs. I step outside into the emerging dawn, the sky a bruised purple. My eyes scan the streets not for picture opportunities, but for signs. A man carrying a blade, a shadow that doesn't belong. I feel the weight of each passerby's unseen choices pressing on my back. I know tomorrow I'll hold my breath as I wait for that coffee shop print. But tonight, every reflection in every window feels like a taunt. The mirror never lies, yet I can't bear what it will show next. I keep the prints in a slim portfolio under my arm as I step into the coffee shop at 8:15 a.m. sharp. The barista, Maya, knows me by name, even though I've never said mine. She slides my latte across the counter with a friendly morning. Stranger, I grip the portfolio tight and nod. My assistant's camera is perched on a tripod near the window, pointed at me. He hovers beside it, thumbs drumming against his thighs. Ready? He asks, voice low, conspiratorial. I steel myself. Go ahead, he clicks twice. The shutter's chatter ricochets in my ears. I lift the portfolio, flipping to the corridor. Printher, aide, and his phantom knife. I hold it as though I'm reading a morning paper. People at neighboring tables glance over. I force a faint smile. My pulse thrums in staccato. We retreat to the tiny back room, where I have a makeshift dark tray kit and a hot plate. He crouches by the enlarger, fumbling the negative into place. I pace, tasting the latex glove sweat on my fingertips. Everything hinges on this moment. Proof or madness. The print emerges in developer fluid, ghost white at first. Then the image blooms, me leaning over that corridor print. My face is etched with concentration, the portfolio pressed to my chest. I stare, heart lurching, looking for any aberration. But there is no aberration. There is no knife. There is only me in mid-investigation. I exhale, shock coursing through my veins. It didn't show violence. I murmur, just me. My assistant stares. So, no crime. I shake my head. Not this time. Relief and disappointment not together in my chest. I slip the fresh print into my jacket pocket. All right, I say, voice steadier than I feel. Let's push further. He gives a hesitant nod. What's next? I rub my temples, weighing the moral calculus. Every photograph now holds two truths. What has been and what will be. The knowledge sits like a stone in my gut. If I capture a future crime, do I stop it? Do I become judge, jury, executioner, by withholding or exposing what I see? I slide. A second negative into the Trayan unassuming street scene shot from 2 nights ago. A lone figure opening the door of a dark townhouse. Nothing remarkable. I focus, expose, and develop. The print forms, a man, key in hand, stepping inside. I inspect it, expecting nothing. Then I blink. The next frame, printed faintly beneath the first. His head is thrown back in wordless agony. Fists raised as though fighting off an invisible threat. I press the wet print to the safe light. The edges blur. The image jitters like a poor film transfer. My throat constricts. He's about to die, I whisper. My assistant's eyes widen. Maybe it's just bad framing. I snort. No. Such thing this time. I glance at my watch. 8:45 a.m. The city outside pulses with oblivious life cars. Morning joggers, grocery deliveries. It's as though I hold a time bomb in a paper sleeve. I tuck the print into the portfolio. We need context. Let's find him. He swallows. Seriously, I meet his gaze. If he's in danger, I have to try. He exhales. Okay. Where to start? I trace my finger over a crumpled notebook page where I've jotted the townhouse address, 283 Willow Street. I go in, you stay out of sight. If you see the print developing a knife or gun, call me. Otherwise, no interference. He hesitates, conflicted. I'm not a detective. Then act like one, I say. We have two images now. The aide with his phantom blade, and this poor guy in his final moments. We either stop these tragedies, record them. He nods reluctantly. We slip out, the portfolio weighing us down with unseen horrors. The air outside is crisp, carrying the scent of fresh asphalt. I tell him to wait 2 blocks away, and I tread down the sidewalk alone. Each step echoes with dread. Willow Street narrow, lined with aged brownstones. Number 283 is halfway down an unremarkable facade of red brick. I raise my camera at eye level, frame the doorway, and click once. The shutter's snap jolts me. I hesitate at the bottom of the stoop, hand on. The door knocker inside the hallway is unlit, the carpet threadbare. I call out, voice tight. Hello, no answer. I lift the print of the dying man, comparing it to the empty threshold. No shadow of violence yet. A bead of sweat drips from my temple. I step in. The door slams behind me, air shifting like the exhale of a trapped animal. I fumble for my phone's flashlight. The beam cuts across the hallway. Portraits of ancestors, their painted eyes accusing me. A click behind me, soft, mechanical, I will. Dropping the flashlight. My camera dangles, lens pointed at me. The lone bulb in the ceiling flickers on. There, in the center of the parlor, stands a man in a rumpled dress shirt, hands clasped. At his side, he looks older than he should, hollow-cheeked. He smiles without warmth. I back up. Can I help you? My voice trembles. He steps forward. You took my picture, he says. No surprise, no accusations, a statement. I swallow. I was photographing outside. He tilts his head. I saw you through the peephole. I swallow again. I'm sorry, I was working. He raises his gaze to the ceiling, as though consulting unseen directions. You developed the photograph. The words hit me like stones. Yes, I admit. His smile deepens into something predatory, and it showed me. He pauses. My death. I grip the portfolio. I saw a violent end. I thought, you were in danger. He steps closer still, and I catch a glint under his sleeve blade's curve, reflecting the overhead light. My throat goes dry. You predicted my death, he says softly. Now you must choose. Will you prevent it by telling me, or will you let me live in ignorance for the poetry of fate? I back toward the door. Each fiber of my being screams to turn and run, but my camera is in my hand, ready to record. I raise it, lens to his face. My finger hovers over the shutter. In that moment, 2 paths diverge, intervene and shatter the timeline, or witness and cement my own complicity. I exhales, low, deliberate. I don't know, I confess. Which would you choose? His eyes gleam. I suppose I must find out. I lower the camera. Fate, it seems, is tired of waiting. I haven't slept. The apartment feels like a mausoleum. Every framed print, a whisper of unfinished business. I spoon cold coffee into my mouth like a superstition, staring at the wall of photographs I've pinned up. Street scenes, portraits, crime scene, stills. Each subject's face seems to twitch in the corner of my vision, as though resisting the static of silver emulsion. I reach for the newest batch. Portrait shots I took over the past week at the jazz club on 9th Street. 5 individuals, each caught in a quiet moment. Saxophonist polishing his horn. A waitress pausing by the jukebox. A lone patron nursing a drink. Their expressions were neutral then. Now, in the prints, their eyes carry guilt. Shadowed hollows beneath furrowed brows, lip corners quivering in remorse. It's subtle, nearly invisible at first glance, but undeniable once you know where to look. My fingers tremble. I isolate the waitress print and hold it up to the lamp. Her eyes, once warm, now look downcast, bruised by secrecy. I swallow. What secret is she hiding? What crime lies coiled in that tilt of her head? I pack my bag, camera with fresh rolls, notebook, the assistant's old burner phone. I slip out into the afternoon sun, trying to act normal. The street is alive with storefront chatter and car horns. I quiet my mind, focus on one thing, truth. I must learn what these faces conceal, and if I can prevent a tragedy. First stop, the jazz club itself. Stacked chairs and a closed sin block the door. I slip around back to the alley entrance, find a side window cracked open, and squeeze inside. The smoke-stained walls and sticky bar floor smell of spilled whiskey. I creep past a cluster of empty tables to the stage, where the saxophonist's case lies open. His horn is gone, but next to it, a small Ziploc bag glitters under the spotlight. White powder, my breath hitches. I squat and slip the bag into my pocket. It's not heroin, cocaine, maybe. I press my palm tight, head spinning. The saxophonist. Musician by night, dealer by day. No wonder his eyes look haunted. But is he headed for worse than addiction, violence, betrayal, death? I dash back into the alley, heart hammering. I dial my assistant's burner. No answer. I leave a message in a hushed voice. Check on the saxophonist. He might be in trouble. My finger hovers over end call until I talk myself down. Next, the waitress. I saw her boarding the No 14 bus earlier, heading downtown toward the housing projects. I catch the bus at the next stop, slipping into the back. She sits, clutching her purse, eyes hidden behind a fringe of dark hair. Her face, still downcast, but now I see something sharper, spark of fear, like she's watching someone behind me. I clear my throat. Excuse me, I say softly. She startles, dropping a crumpled transit pass. I bend to pick it up, hands brushing. Hers, her palm is clammy. I hand it back, voice low. I'm a photographer. I noticed you in a portrait I took. I wanted to make sure you're okay. She studies me. Shadowed eyes meet mine. Why, she whispers. I swallow. I saw something in your expression, something more than yesterday's smile. My heart slams. I'm lying by omission, but I can't spill the knife and death truth. Her eyes flick to the street, then back. I'm fine, she says, voice brittle. Thanks. She stands abruptly, clutching her bag. The bus jolts forward, and she tumbles out as the doors hiss. I leap to the platform, calling after her, but she disappears into the crowd. I sprint alongside the bus, turning corners until I lose her tracks. My lungs burn. She's vanished. I clutch the empty street, the walls closing in. I've warned her, yet what did she understand? And now she's gone. My phone buzzes. It's the assistant's text. Saxophonist broke down, called cops. He's clean, said he planned to sell but regrets it. He's hiding somewhere safe. Relief and dread twist in my gut. At least he isn't planning a violent deal gone wrong. But the faces, they multiply. Each subject is spiraling toward a guilty breaking point. I duck into a cafe and spread the portraits across a corner table. The saxophonist with his contraband, The waitress shrugging free. The lone patrona, middle-aged man in a green sweater, hovering between tables. His print caught him clutching his chest, eyes wide as though struck. Was it a heart attack? Or something more sinister, mortal wound inflicted by another? I tell myself to stick to one case, one face at a time. But the portfolio's weight demands I chase each thread. I sketch timelines in my notebook, where I shot them when they'll act. It's obsessive, but necessary. I sip coffee, insisting on calm. Outside, the city churns people, unaware of fate's shutter. I decide I'll follow the middle-aged man next. He left the jazz club at midnight, caught a cab home. I remember from my notes the address 57 Hawthorne Lane. I leave cash on the cafe table, grab my gear and head out. Night has fallen. Hawthorne Lane is empty save for a flickering lamppost. Number 57 looms like a relic. Peeling paint, shuttered windows. I lift my camera as I approach one click. The flash snaps, and I catch the man stepping out of his front door, clutching an envelope. His gaze flicks downward. He pockets it and moves back inside. I crouch at the stoop, heart racing. That envelope, what did it contain? Blackmail, evidence. My mind churns with possibilities. I slip the camera strap over my wrist and stretch my neck to peer through the mail slot. Darkness inside. No movement. I raise my voice. Sir, are you? All right. No answer. I knock. Once, twice. Silence. The door clicks as it unlatches. I push it gently and step inside. The foyer is dim, the scent of old paper and settling dust. I call again. Hello. An inch toward the living room. I see the envelope on the coffee table, white, sealed. I pocket it reflexively, the weight sharp between my fingers. My other hand steadies my camera. I press the shutter. One exposure, no flash. Behind me, a floorboard creaks. I whirl. He's there, eyes wild, arms raised. Get out, he snarls. I raise my hands. I just wanted to help. He lunges, and I snap one more photo. The blur of his fist, the terror on my face. I bolt past him, spilling into the night. The door slams. I run until the streetlights blur into one continuous line. Breathing hard, I stop beneath a neon sign. 24-hour photo lab. Fate's echo. I slip inside, feed the envelope and the 2 new negatives into the machine. As the prints emerge, I brace for the revelation. The saxophonist looks relieved. The waitress is vanished. The man, he's clutching a gun, finger on the trigger, aimed down the barrel at someone just out of frame. A warning, a prophecy. I fold the prints into my coat, heart pounding. I've chased faces down every alley, but now the scene shifts. No longer innocent bystanders, but active players. The images don't just show violence, they orchestrate it. Each person is now aware I'm in the wings, a phantom chronicler. Of their sins, I tuck the prints away. My reflection in the photolab's glass door catches my eye, haggard, haunted. I touch the pane. What do I do now? I whisper to myself. The mirror remains silent, and somewhere in a world beyond the frame, the next tragedy impatiently waits its cue. By the time I reach my apartment, the sky has gone bruised purple, the streetlights flickering to life like dying fireflies. My coat is heavy with damp and dread each fold of fabric, pressing the portfolio hard against my chest. Inside, I drop the prints onto my coffee table and stand back, breath shallow, the saxophonist's relieved face. the waitress's disappearance, the man raising a gun-itch image, a bleeding testament to fate's cruel choreography. I pace the length of the room, hands tangling in my hair. My walls, once gallery clean, are now plastered with prints pinned to corkboard in haphazard rows. String connects faces to addresses, times to events, a spiderweb of foreknowledge I can't escape. The apartment seems to pulse around me, as if the photographs themselves are alive, whispering, judging, urging me onward. I sink onto the couch and falter. Memories of my past flooding in, the misfires and misedits that ended careers, the clients who accused me of manipulating truth. I became a recluse out of necessity, trusting only silver-hallowed reality until this week. Now, reality itself is a living organism I can dissect and expose. I lift a frame from the wall, the charity gala aisle, the aide with buried violence. In his grip, I stare at it, my reflection superimposed over the scene. There, I am witness, catalyst, God. I feel sick, sleep evades me. I drift in and out of nightmares, my camera lens dripping blood, my hands stained red with undeveloped film. Sometimes I wake to the feeling of a blade at my throat only to see the silhouette of my own tripod standing guard. In the mornings, I collapse at my desk, eyelids glued shut by exhaustion, trembling so badly I can't hold a pen. Yet I can't stop. The faces demand resolution. I need to know, am I gift-ed with prescience, or cursed? 2 nights ago, I snapped a photo of the city's main square at midnight, crowds streaming away after the street festival. I labeled the role experiment. I promised myself I'd confront the unknown head on this time. I load that role in the enlarger tray now. My assistant left town, claiming he couldn't sleep either. I respect that this solitude is mine to bear under the sick light. I slip a new sheet of resin-coated paper under the enlarger and expose the blank skyline. I dip it in developer. My chest tightens with anticipation. Slowly, the plaza emerges. Lampposts, asphalt, trash bins. I flick the print and find the frame I wanted. On the far side of the square, a lone figure kneels beside another collapsed form, 2 people locked in postures no dancer rehearses. One hand of the kneeling figure hovers near a knife wound at the other side. A jolt shoots through me. This print shows murder in progress. My breath rattles. I lift it, feeling the image pulse under my latex glove. The worst part, I recognize. The killer's Kota charcoal trench I saw on the woman at the bus stop, the one who vanished into the crowd, the waitress. I double over, stomach lurching. She's the murderer. The waitress, I warned, who fled. Now she's taken a life, and her face, etched with cold resolve. Panic surges. I clutch my camera to my chest. My mind flickers between confrontation and collapse. Should I go to the police, show them the print, explain time-bending photos? They'd lock me up or lobotomize my credibility. And even then, would they act before the deed is done? The square's festival ended 2 nights ago. The murder would have happened in the dark hours after. I may already be too late. I pace again, then stop. Resolve crystallizes. I have to confront her, face to face. If I can't save the victim, maybe I can at least force her hand for the sake of truth. I gear up, camera, spare rolls, pepper spray, a flashlight. I slip the trench from her photo onto my shoulders like a cloak of dread. I slip outside, heart hammering, and hail a taxi. I recite the bus stop's cross streets, Jefferson and 5th. The driver eyes me in the rearview mirror. I offer no explanation. When the cab stops, I see the faded bus shelter where I first spoke to her. It's empty now, rain-slick pavement reflecting neon shards. I jog toward the address I noted, an abandoned warehouse 2 blocks away. The linen white envelope I recovered from the townhouse, stuff it in my pocket. It might hold leverage. The warehouse door is ajar. I grip my camera, phone glinting in my palm. Inside, I navigate steel support beams and broken pallets until I reach a cavernous room. Flickering bulbs rattle overhead. In the center, I spot her silhouette compelling in its stillness. The body lies at her feet, a dark stain spreading. Across her jeans, she kneels over it, whispering something, hands pressed to the wound. I raise my camera for a shot stop and capture. The flash erupts. She jolts, whip fast, eyes blazing. I lower the camera slowly. Stop, I shout. It's over her lips curl. Who are you? She snarls. I swallow. I warned you, she laughs. No humor there, just a rasp of madness. Warned me, you gave me the knife. My skin crawls. No, I only showed you what you would do. She tilts her head. Prove it. I slip the envelope from my pocket and fling it at her feet. It bursts open. Photographs from the townhouse. My prints of her eyes downcast in that bus window. The knife and murder scene. Slips of paper. Evidence of her transformation. She kneels, picks them up, scanning. Her gaze snaps upward. You think I'm the villain? She hisses. I think you're destined, I say. But maybe not. You still have choice. For a moment, the tremor in her shoulders betrays doubt. Then she straightens, the cement floor crunching under her weight. Destiny, she repeats softly. Prove it. She lunges, blade slashing the air. I twist, pepper spray, arc, her hand recoils. I seize the moment, diving past her. We crash through pallets. I hear bone, her groan. I don't look back. I race into the alley, flashlight bouncing. The warehouse door slams behind me. Rain hisses down as I stumble to the street. I gasp for breath, coat soaked, portfolio dented but intact. In the taxi back, I stare at my reflection in the window, eyes wide, face gaunt, hair plastered. Fate bruised me, but I survived. My heart thrums with terror and exhilaration. I clutch the portfolio proof. I hold the knife edge of tomorrow. I resolve, no more testing, no more chasing ghosts in emulsions. I must face my own role and what I see next in my final exposure. Because if the mirror never lies, soon it will show me, and then, only then, will I know if I'm predator or prey. I awake to an unnerving tranquility. The only sound is my own ragged breathing. Dawn's pale light spills across my floor, illuminating prints strewn like fallen soldiers. I haven't slept. I've only dozed eyes, flicking open to phantom movements in the corners of my vision. My reflection in the hallway mirror startles me. Hollow-cheeked, unshaven, haunted. Today, I know, I confront my destiny. I dress in black, layering my jacket over a threadbare hoodie. I sling my camera and load a fresh film roll. In my coat pocket lies the portfolio, the evidence of 6 prophecies, 6 broken lives so far. But there's one photo left, the one I've resisted, my own exposure. Last night, overcome by dread and obsessive curiosity, I loaded the final roll in my camera, pointed it at the darkroom door, and fired a single test shot. The negative waited in the tank, heavy with unknown weight. Now, I stand before the door. To the dark room, heart pounding. Inside lies everything. The blood-drenched lens of truth and the spectre of my own guilt. A single click of the lock, a single inhale, and I'll know what I am. I step inside. The red safe light flickers. The developer tray gurgles softly. I remove my glove and reach into my pocket for the film canister. My hands tremble so badly the canister clatters against the stainless steel sink. I catch it, forcing calm. This is data, not destiny. I thread the film onto the reel and snap the tank shut. I pour developer into the chamber, then stopper closes. With a click, time distends. My pulse surges in my ears as I rock the tank, listening to the chemical ballet within. My mind loops. Will I see blade, blood, my name? I can't stop it. I'm tethered to that reel. When the timer dings, I lift the lid and pour the developer back. With surgical care, I unload the negative onto the film reel. I cut a small strip, just a few frames, that corresponds to the test shot. I carry it to the enlarger. My assistant's old tripod holds the easel. I slot the negative into the carrier and slide a piece of fresh paper onto the easel. I set the timer, lower the enlarger head, and press the exposure button. The whir of the motor echoes in the hush. I dial the timer. Click. I lower the easel, heart lodged in my throat, and carry the blank sheet to the developer tray. I slide it in. The developer hisses, and ghost white slowly blooms into grayscale shapes. I lift it, fingers poised, and watch. At first, it's just the metal door latch and the drip of the fixer tray behind me in reflection. Then a silhouette appears. Me, leaning toward the door, camera raised. My hair falls into my eyes. My knuckles whiten as I grip the shutter. My face is calm, no fear, no hesitation. And then, behind my image, a second figure, a man sprawled on the floor, arms splayed, shadow pooling beneath him. I jerked the print free, heart pounding. The second figure's face is indistinct, swallowed by shadow, but the posture is unmistakable, lifeless. My own reflection in the chrome of the developer tray shifts. I see myself arching over the corpse, hand poised to do what? Drop the camera, stab, or record. I clutch the print to my chest, breath coming in whimpers. The room tilts. I know what it shows. My own future, the darkest exposure of all. I tear my gaze from the emulsion and swivel to the door latch. The faintest creaks of one or something turns the handle. I spin. The darkroom door stands ajar. No one's there. My pulse hammers as I step forward. I hold the print at arm's length, staring into the future. If I step through that door in an hour, will I find the camera at my feet, the body on the floor, the print in my hand? I slip it into my jacket and race out of the darkroom. The night air is cool. The corridor light hums. I lock the door behind me, double-checking the latch. The portfolio's bulk is a vice on my chest. I stagger backward to the window overlooking the alley below. The street is empty save for the flicker of a single street lamp and the distant sirens that feel too faint to trust. I grip my camera, trembling. I know what I must do, correct. The record will become the next subject. I dial my assistant's burner once, twice. No answer. He left town. Perhaps it's safer that way. That means I'm alone. I slip the negative strip from my pocket and tear it into pieces, dropping the fragments to the cement below. Fate's film dissolves in mid-air as I watch, powerless to reassemble the image in my mind. Still, I sense a presence behind me, a promise of what will be. I turn gradually. The corridor is empty. My reflection in the glass door trembles back at me, face dark, framed by light. I swallow the lump of dread. I speak softly to no one. I choose free will. I lift my camera and step toward the dark room. Door intent not to photograph, but to destroy. The handle yields with a groan, and I cross the threshold. Inside, the safe light glows amber over the empty developer trays. My print lies on the floor, half torn. I crush it under my boot. Paper and fibers crumpling into dust. As I kick the last sliver into the drain, I feel something shift. The room's atmosphere tightens, as though the mirror eye shattered still holds a shard somewhere, reflecting the truth I've tried to deny. I exhale, the door clicks behind me. I walk away, boots echoing in the hall. I pass the window overlooking the Alano. Fragments remain. Outside, the world yawns into a new day, oblivious to the choice I've made. I pocket the destroyed negative. Fate may fume in darkness, but light comes from action, not prophecy. I walk into the dawn unarmed, but free. The mirror doesn't lie, yet I have the power to step away from its reflection. The morning light is gentle, deceptively peaceful, as if nothing violent has ever unfurled in these halls. I trace my fingertip over the scorched patch in the carpet where I crushed the last fragment of my exposure, feeling the ghost of paper fibers in the weave. My heart still pounds, but the dread has receded into a dull ache. Like the aftermath of a fever dream, I gather the remaining print 6, prophecies and one self-portrait of Dumand, tuck them into my portfolio. Outside, the world churns. On, commuters clutch briefcases, vendors hawk newspapers, a child chases pigeons in the square. Everything is ordinary. Everything is fragile. I cross the street to St. Jude's Hall, retracing the first steps of my ordeal. The charity gala's marquee is gone. The hall is shuttered for cleaning. I slip inside through the side door the janitor left unlocked and climb the folding chair to reach the old electrical panel. With a snap, I kill the overhead lights, leaving only the amber of the safe light I installed months ago. The room smells of damp plaster, an old varnisher fitting stage for my final act. I wheel in my easel and enlarger. My assistant helped me rig the wiring to run off a portable generator, so I'm not reliant on the building's power. In the pale glow, I slot in each negative one at a time, exposing a single print for each prophecy. Knife-wielding aide. Drug dealer, saxophonist, vanished waitress, gun-brandishing stranger, bus-stop killer, murder in the square. And then my own confession, now empty. Replaced by blank paper, I develop each print swiftly, slipping them from tray to tray. One by one, they surface, futures captured in silver grain. I study each image, heart fluttering as I confirm the outcome. With relief, I nudge them into a box labeled record of what was, sealing it with packing tape. Fate's script, now documented. But powerless lass is the blank frame, my self-portrait of violence. The paper emerges pure white, unmarred. My pulse speeds. Did destruction erase destiny? I dip it again, longer this time. Still blank. No silhouette of me slumping over. Bloodied floorboards. No spectre waiting in the doorway. Just paper and developer swirling. I hold the sheet to the safe light. I press my thumb into its center, leaving a crease. My reflection floats in the glossy surface unbroken. No knife in my hand, no body at my feet. Only me, whole and unfractured. Lean back, a tremor of laughter escaping me. Finally, I understand. The mirror doesn't lie, but it only shows what you let it. By destroying the negative, I unframed my fate. The generator sputters, its fuel low. I flip the safe light off, leaving the dark room in utter blackness. I pack away my kit tripod, camera, prints, portfolio. As I step outside, dawn's full amber light floods the hall. I climb down the ladder, fold the chair, and carry everything into the pale morning dot. The box of prints rests heavy in my arms. I climb into a taxi and direct the driver to the riverfront. I need water to wash away the last of that chemical haze, to feel currents too alive to be trapped in silver halide. The taxi pulls at the key. I step onto the dock and lift the box high. I pause, inhaling the river's breath call. Eternal, then, without hesitation, I open the lid and let each print drift into the water. First comes the aide's blade steady hand, then the saxophonist's city-lit transaction, the waitress's final gesture, the stranger's shaking gun, the amorphous bus stop killer, the square's stained asphalt. They float, curl, and sink beneath the surface, vanishing into currents I cannot control. I linger until the box is empty, water lapping at my shoes. Then I drop the crate in two, watching it drift before tilting and filling. Its lid bobs a moment, then slips below. Everything I've recorded, every secret I've unraveled now, lies in the deep. I turn away from the river, feeling weightless. My camera bag is still slung over my shoulder, but the portfolio is gone. The prints are gone. Fate's frozen moments have dissolved. I walk up the quay, shoulders straight, chest open to the morning air. Some might say I tampered with destiny. By destroying the evidence, I erased the future. But I believe I reclaimed choice. The mirror may reflect our shadows, but it cannot cage our will. Today, I walk free of its gaze. A man who dared to peer beyond the frame and lived to step back into the light. I lift my camera, not to photograph fate, but to chase truth in the living world. Moments not bound by prophecy, but by breath and heartbeat. The mirror doesn't lie, it only shows what you present. And right now, I choose to look forward,